Good evening. I would like to welcome everyone to the Henry County Zoning Advisory Board meeting for Thursday, January 10th, 2019. This meeting is being televised on Charter Channel 99, Charter Channel 180 and AT&T UVerse Channel 99. It will air daily at 1 p.m. with additional airing on Thursday at 7 p.m. A video is available on demand on the county website. Please turn off all cell phones and laptops and set them on vibrate. Anyone wishing to speak tonight, please fill out a public hearing speaking card. A total of 10 minutes will be allotted for anyone speaking in favor of a case and 10 minutes for anyone speaking in opposition of a case. For example, if 10 people wish to speak, they must share the 10-minute slot. When you are speaking, please face the board and not the audience. If you turn to the audience, we will assume that you have completed and call the next speaker. At this time, I will give the invocation and the pledge. Please stand. Heavenly Father, we come before you and thank you for this evening. We thank you for all your wonderful blessings, and we thank you for guiding us to a new year. And we ask that you guide this board and be with us, guide us with our decisions. We ask that you be with us throughout this year. These things we ask in Jesus' name. Amen. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. This meeting is now called to order. Do I have a motion to accept the agenda?
Motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Okay, the first on the agenda is the elections. Do I have a motion to nominate someone for president?
Yes, so moved. I'd like to nominate Mr. DeLander Nelson as chairman.
Okay.
I'd like to second that.
We have a motion and a second for chair of DeLander Nelson. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, do I have a motion for vice chair?
I would like to nominate Susan King to be the vice chair.
A second.
I have a motion and a second for nomination of vice chair. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Do I have a motion for secretary?
I would like to move to make Mr. Dante Gibbs as the secretary for this board.
I have a motion for secretary. Do I have a second?
Second.
All right. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Okay. Mr. Gibbs, do we have any comments?
Yes, sir, Mr. Chair. I have a few comments and a few things to address. First and foremost, there are 3 cases that are tabled from tonight's agenda. This tabling is a result of the applicant making formal written requests to the Planning and Zoning Department this morning. And those cases are case number RZ 1820, the Reservoir Group of Watkinsville, Georgia. They were requesting to rezone from RA to RS on property located on Willow Lane. The second case that is tabled is case number RZ 1822, and that is Builders Professional Group, LLC of Jonesboro, Georgia, requesting to rezone property on Elliott Road from RA to R2. And case number CU-18-14, Builders Professional Group, LLC of Jonesboro, Georgia, requesting a conditional use for a conservation subdivision for the same property on Elliott Road. Those 3 cases have been tabled and will not be on tonight's agenda, but will be rescheduled for the March 14th Zoning Advisory Board agenda. The other items that I would like to address at this time is to officially welcome our new appointees to the Zoning Advisory Board. If you would join me in welcoming Mr. Chris Moore, who is the new City of Hampton Zoning Advisory Board appointee. Welcome, Mr. Moore. And if you would join me in welcoming Mr. James Carmichael, who is the new District 4 Zoning Advisory Board appointee. Welcome, Mr. Carmichael. And last but not least, we have a familiar new face, our summer intern who has been able to intern with our planning and zoning department for the last 3 summers, finished her college degree, and is now a part of our team full-time. So please welcome Ms. Jewel Richardson as our new addition to our planning staff. She is our new Planner 1.
Congratulations. Okay. Any additional comments?
That is all at this time.
Okay, well, thank you. At this time, if there is no additional comments, we would like to call the first case.
RZ 1819, H.H. Evans Family Trust of Winterville, Georgia, requests a rezoning from M2 Heavy Manufacturing to C2 General Commercial for property located at 549 Highway 1941 in land lots 196, 197, and 220 of the 6th District. The property consists of 1.023 plus or minus acres, and the request is for a vehicle rental business in District 2, and the report is presented by Mrs. Julie Yoder, Planner 3.
Good evening, Chair and board members. The applicant tonight is requesting to rezone this property from M2 Heavy Manufacturing to C2 General Commercial to make it consistent with surrounding properties and so that they may have a vehicle rental business. This property was rezoned from C2 to M2 in 1997 for the sale and production of concrete products. The future land use map designates this property for mixed-use land use, which supports the applicant's request. And there are existing C2 commercial properties to the north, south, and west of the subject property. The future land use map With that being said, staff recommends approval of this applicant's request, and I'd be happy to take any questions you have.
Okay. Does the board have questions for staff?
One question, what is it, U-Haul? No?
U-Haul rental, vehicle rental, something like that. Similar use.
Okay. Any additional questions for staff? All right, Mr. Richard?
Is there one corner of this property next to Upper Wilsey Road that's already C2?
Yes, sir. Let me put the zoning map back up. So it's basically surrounded by C2 properties for the most part.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. I do have one question. And under M2, he could not open a rental?
That's correct.
Okay. Okay. Any additional questions? Okay, at this time, we'd like to call the applicant. Is the applicant here? Okay, please come forward, sir. State your name and address for the record.
My name is Luke Evans. I live at 111 Maplewood Drive in Griffin, Georgia.
Mr. Edwards, do you have anything that you would like to add to staff recommendation?
No, sir, not particularly. It was just zoned C2 prior to this other zoning taking place, and we'd like to get it back so it's continuous. We'd had a rental business, truck repair, and shop in there since 1962. My father passed away recently. When we got it back, we didn't even know it had been rezoned for this little concrete plant they added, and we just want to get it back so it's all continuous and we can go back to doing what they were doing in it prior to having it rezoned.
Okay. Does the board have a question for the applicant?
So U-Haul truck rental?
That's what's proposed at this time, yes. There was a rental business in it before, for almost 30 years before it was sold. The family got the property back after my father passed away.
So this is an existing building?
Yes, ma'am,
I see.
There's a structure on the
I
property.
see.
there's 2 structures on the property that haven't changed.
And will you be doing any type of maintenance, repair work?
Not that I know of, no. The only proposed thing at this time is the U-Haul rental. And there was one in there before. The gentleman that had a U-Haul rental business in there as well before he rezoned it for this concrete plant, batch plant or whatever it was he rezoned for.
About how much space do you have for about estimate, roundhouse, how many trucks? An estimate, just a rough
I have
estimate
no
that
idea.
you might be able to.
We're just the owners of the property. We're not gonna actually do the rental business.
Oh, I see.
We have a renter who's interested in doing that. And at that time, we didn't know that it had been rezoned. So
I understand.
there's one
I
little
see.
acre right in the middle of our property and all the surrounding property that's all zone C2?
Your property is M2.
M2,
There's C2
okay.
all around.
Yeah,
Okay, so that one little tract right in the center, and it kind of
I
splits
see.
between some of the buildings. It's not
Sure.
even continuous.
okay, thank you.
Okay.
Any additional question for the applicant? Okay, I have one question. The concrete company that you speak of, have they closed?
Yes, sir, they've been gone.
Okay.
I know they've been gone for 8 months. Prior to that, I'm not sure.
Are you presently operating as a business there now?
No, there's nothing in there. Right now, it's sitting vacant.
Okay. Any additional questions for the applicant? Okay.
Is there office space in there as well?
Yes, ma'am.
A space for an office?
The original building, the office in the front was a service station. The service station was taken out about 20 years ago, and there's office space and restrooms and all in the front building. The back building is basically just a big warehouse with a restroom in it.
Any additional questions for the applicant? If not, you may be seated, sir.
All right, thank you.
At this time, we'd like to allot 10 minutes for anyone wishing to speak in favor of this case. 10 minutes for anyone wishing to speak in favor of the case. No one's coming. We'd like to allot 10 minutes for anyone speaking in opposition of the case. Okay. Does the board have additional questions for the applicant or staff? No. Okay. If not, call the case.
RZ 1819 H.H. Evans Family Trust of Winterville, Georgia, requests a rezoning from M2 Heavy Manufacturing to C2 General Commercial for property located at 549 Highway 1941 in land lots 196, 197, and 220 of the 6th District. The property consists of 1.023 plus or minus acres, and the request is for a vehicle rental business in District 2, and the report was presented by Mrs. Julie Yoder, Planner 3.
Okay. We've heard the case. Do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion that the board goes with staff recommendation to approve RZ 1819.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Okay. And call the next case, please.
CU 1813, Berean Christian Church Incorporated of Stone Mountain, Georgia, requests a conditional use for the property located at 171 Collier Road in land lots 68 and 93 of the 12th District. The property consists of 15.009 plus or minus acres, and the request is for a church. This is District 5, and the report is presented by Ms. Jewel Richardson, Planner 1.
Good evening, Chair and Board. This conditional use request is for the property located at 166, 172, and 202 Collier Road. As highlighted in green in your exhibit books as on the overhead screen, the conditional use request is to allow a church/religious facility. The highlighted structure shown on the site plan on the overhead in your screens is the existing building that has been utilized for as a church for the last 30 years. The applicant has purchased the properties adjacent to 171 Collier Road in attempt to combine the properties into one tract and add 300 to 350 parking spaces. With that being said, Staff has evaluated the applicant's request and recommends approval with one condition shown on the overhead. I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Okay.
Any questions, staff?
At this time, no, I don't have anything.
All right, well, we'll ask the applicant to come forward, please. The applicant. Please state your name and address, please.
My name is Raymond Lester. I live at 1509 Tunbridge Wells Crescent in Lithonia, Georgia, 30058.
Anything that you would like to add to staff comments?
She did a great presentation. Everything she said pretty much summarizes it. We'll be applying for a land disturbance permit. We have already hired an architect, and she's already submitted the drawings. Our chief concern, of course, is parking for us, and so we're trying to address the parking. If everything is approved by Henry County, the architect anticipates we will have a expanded parking lot probably by September sometime. So.
Questions?
Yes, I have a question. What's the occupant load now of your church?
The what now?
What's the occupant, how many people do you expect to attend?
The sanctuary comfortably seats 500, and my guess is as soon as we've got 3 other locations, one in Stone Mountain, then also Gwinnett County, and as soon as we expand parking, we normally fill out our sanctuaries, and so right now, I think that's the main thing that's holding us back from filling it out. We average probably 300 to 400 people currently.
Okay. So you have an occupant load of 500 as of now?
Well, the sanctuary comfortably seats 500. I don't know what the code says in terms of the previous church that was there. They had the occupancy number out on the building. I didn't pay attention to that before I came. I got it over here though. But it comfortably seats 500. It's 500 seats, and it's still got plenty of space left in there to even add more seats.
Okay. And how much parking do you have as of now?
I think 250 parking spaces.
Okay. And you're trying to expand to how many parking spaces?
An additional 350. 300 to 350.
Okay.
You want to add that many or reach that many?
We want to add that many. The 500, there's 2 buildings. The building I was referring to is the newer building, and then there's the older building to the right that we have our youth doing their worship in. So if you include that one, that at least is another 300 or so people as well.
Okay. And that's all I have as of now.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Any other questions? Board? Jim? Mm-hmm.
On the one requirement that that's been recommended for this to go through, do you understand what that is, and you have all comfortable capabilities to make that happen? Do you see any problems with that?
I already got the application. I've already talked to the department down the stairs. They want 5 copies, and I'm planning on bringing that in with the funds on Monday.
Good deal. Just want to make sure you knew what that was for,
Oh,
what
yeah.
it was about. Okay.
I guess that would kind of lead to my question for staff. Is there any possible complications with that requirement, that condition for him?
No.
No, it's just.
Yeah, it's just to
it's a
make sure that,
formality.
once he puts all of the parcels together, it goes under one land disturbance permit.
I see, okay,
Yes.
yeah. Mhm.
I think it's just a matter of getting it resurveyed.
Yes, so we can see it, that it's one parcel versus 2. I mean, 3.
Okay. Any other questions?
Well, I do have an additional question. Let's go back to, now, do you plan to change the structure at all? Do you plan to do anything to the structure?
No.
Okay.
So your main purpose is to go to one parcel and add parking space?
Yes.
Okay. And presently now you are operating as a church, correct?
Yes.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
At this time, we'll allow 10 minutes for anyone who would like to speak in favor of this case. Please come forward and state your name and address. Anyone who would like to speak in favor of this case? 10 minutes for anyone who would like to speak in opposition to this case. Anyone? Please come forward, state your name and address for the record.
Hello. Christy Tilley, 151 East 151 Longview Road, Stockbridge, Georgia.
Just a little bit. There you go.
151 Longview Road, sorry. And I have family members that live down that road, and might be, if there's 100 parking spots, I would be surprised. And I was concerned how they're going to make it into one when there's 3 separate buildings. Or the buildings are separate. I mean, they're joined. There's space between the buildings. So I didn't know how they were going to make it into one, and they are in desperate need of parking, yes. So.
Put the drawing back up, maybe, and so what was your question one more time, ma'am?
Well, first one was how are they going to make it into one facility? And because there is a gap between the buildings, paved area. And then as far as the parking, there is not, if there's 100 places to park, I'd be surprised, like marked on the actual concrete as of now.
Mr. Chair, if you would like, I can
The
answer
rest
that.
are in the grass and on the road. And it's a little dead-end street.
I'm sorry, Dante?
I'm sorry, Madam Chair. I said Mr.
Yeah,
Chair.
that's
Madam
okay.
Chair,
I
if
can't
you
hear
like,
on my left ear, so.
if you like, I can answer that.
Yeah, please do.
It's not an issue of combining the buildings or making them one. It is a matter of making this multiple parcels into one tract of land. And in making those multiple parcels into one tract of land, they're going to add parking spaces to accommodate the additional church attendees. So the 2 structures have been there and they're going to remain there. So they're not combining anything regarding the structures. It's just facilitating the addition of the parking spaces by enlarging the tract size, by combining 3 into 1.
Is that, how does that would affect, I mean, what would be the reasoning to do that, if I may ask?
Our regulations require certain numbers of parking spaces based on the square footage, the use. We look at a table in our code and make that calculation. So based on the occupancy load of those buildings, and they're wanting to expand and buy those tracts or add those tracts to their church use, our code requires a conditional use. A conditional use runs with the property, and so in order to utilize those additional tracts, they need a conditional use for those tracts. And so with that, we are conditioning them to combine them into one, which requires a surveyor and a plan review, and then going through our building plan review department and then it's re-recorded as one tract under one parcel for the land disturbance activity that they need to have done.
Where are y'all going to put your parking, over where the rock area is?
It's right there, where Jewel, if you don't mind pointing to it, all those areas where you see the lines and the islands in the center, that's where the parking will be.
Okay, is that, I guess, to the side of the youth building?
It looks like it's to the north of the rear building, which I'm assuming is the youth building.
Okay. And it goes, are y'all going to fill in the ponds?
We're not, they are.
Oh, okay. There's 3 pretty ponds
I'm
back
not sure if they're,
there.
I'm sorry, let me say it again. We're not doing anything because we're the local government, location authority. But the property owners, if they choose to keep the ponds, fill them in, that's their choice, but they have to go through the proper processes of doing that.
Yeah, there's, it's nothing but granite stone. I'm sure y'all are aware of that, or the church is. So it's going to take quite a bit of blasting, I'm sure, to have that done. But that was just my concern. And like I say, there's not that much parking there now. And anyway, just wanted to bring that to your attention.
Thank you. Anyone else like to speak in opposition of this case? Opposition of this case? Does the board have any additional questions for either the applicant or staff? Let's call the case.
CU 1813 Berean Christian Church Incorporated of Stone Mountain, Georgia, requests a conditional use for the property located at 171 Collier Road in land lot 68 and 93 of the 12th District. The property consists of 15.009 plus or minus acres, and the request is for a church in District 5, and the report was presented by Ms. Jewel Richardson, Planner 1.
Do I have a motion?
Yes, I'd like to make a motion to approve the conditional use based on staff recommendation.
All in favor? Motion carries. Thank you.
That concludes our cases for this evening. I have a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
Second.
Let's do it. I said, let's do it. Yeah, real quick.